Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón. I'm here with a great guest and a great lawman who's running for Constable of Webb County. And he's running in, and he has a great story, great stuff. We got here with a nice little sit down with Luis Tinajero. How are you doing?
How you doing, Professor? How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for standing up. And we've been following the race. We've been following everything else that you've been doing. And I think we need to tell the folks out there that how we have to vote for you, because number one, it's a write-in, correct?
Correct. So the challenge is not only the old ways of voting in Laredo, all the little trickery that's done, but the other challenge is that I'm coming in as a write-in. So we're gonna make history in this election, in the sense that Webb County has never had an electronic write-in candidate. So I'm gonna be one of the first ones to go through that process. So basically, each little cubicle is supposed to have a list of write-in candidates. So when it comes down to that race, Constable Precinct 1, you gotta punch in the little circle that says write-in, and then it's gonna be an electronic, a virtual keyboard. It's gonna pop up, and you just follow exactly Luis Tinajero, punch it in there. That's the way it was gonna go in there.
Okay. And how did that happen? What happened? I thought you were running with the Republican Party.
Well,
what occurred?
Quick story. So we go to the Democratic chairs, a couple
Okay.
of months ago, and in their divine wisdom, decide that I'm not the best candidate for them to support. That's fine. So I stood back and watched, and then I got approached by some members of the Republican Party. Hey, do you want to run? Yeah, let's run. The problem is that I voted Democratic in the primary, so I have to wait a whole cycle before I can switch over parties. So some people in that party changed their minds. Again, it's their right. So the only choice I had was to come in as an independent, and so I can get into this race.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that when you're a police officer, it really doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat.
No.
You just have to do your job.
Right.
And a constable is a powerful position here in county. Let's talk a little bit about what a constable does.
Okay. Well, I always tell people I break it down into four different duties of the constable. The first and foremost is being a lawman. We have the rights and privileges of a peace officer in Texas. We can make arrests, we can do investigations, we do all that stuff. The second one is for the county, we do all the civil processes. Anything having to do with evictions, divorces, anything that the legal system needs for us to push papers through, we do that for them. The third duty that we have is that of a court bailiff. Depending on the precinct, we are the court bailiffs to the JP. And the last thing we do is court security. Sometimes, it gets heated. You got families, or you got two parties going at it, and sometimes they need security. So that's the fourth duty that we have as a constable.
Absolutely. And there was some troubles with the constable that was there previous, and I think he's facing some legalities. I think he was sentenced. But other than that, we need to get somebody inside that's going to switch that whole department around.
And that's the challenge and that's why it's so important, Professor, because the person that comes in, we don't need a politician in there. We need a lawman. We need someone that has been around, someone that has the experience to do the right thing, and who's a leader. A lot of people think that the word leadership is thrown around loosely, like it's everyday work, but it's not. A true leader is someone that knows how to motivate people without actually saying anything. They just gotta, be there, show example, and the people will follow without you having to say anything. They know what they got to do.
Absolutely. You need folks that are experienced, and I don't know. I really don't know the other candidates. I know who they are. I've never met them. I've known you for a very long time. I've seen what you've done in the past, and there's a difference. There's good badges and bad badges, and you're a good badge, and that's the way I've always admired what you've done.
And I appreciate that. It's tough, Paul. It's tough, especially nowadays. With politicians talking about defunding the police, politicians and social media attacking police officers every time there's a shooting of a suspect because it's an automatically accusation of an abuse, which is not always the case. You have to, you cannot make a judgment call on a 10-second video. You got to see what happened before.
You have to see what happened before it and how it ended up afterward. And I'm for that. We've always backed up the police, and I'm also against a lot of things that occurred. That we need to do some kind of reform, police reform. There has to be. Now it's a time that we have to do some kind of reform. I'm not talking about defunding like BLM, and I might use the word defunding, but I think we have to fund certain ones.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think we need a SWAT team for every department.
Right.
I think we need a SWAT one because of the cluster that occurred in Uvalde. I think we need the sheriff to make sure that he's the only one that has that and be able to be there 24/7, and not every other department with a SWAT team showing up.
I agree, but SWAT teams are sexy, and when it comes to presentations and stuff, every chief or sheriff they love saying I have this, I have that. It's part of their legacy. But again, is it good stewardship of taxpayers' money? Maybe not. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I agree with you. You're right.
I think we should have one. Maybe 3 teams from the sheriff department that are the ones that take care of business. You know what I'm saying? You do 3 teams, and guess what? You're on 24/7, and you guys train. Not on SWAT, and you don't train, and you know the way it is about training. You have to train, and I had training. Yeah, training means in the past.
Right.
Are you training now?
Are you proficient?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right because you started in martial arts at a very young age, and you're still doing it. I started at a young age, and I haven't done it in 5 years. So when I come into the dojo, I'm gonna look like a rookie, like a brand new white belt, and that's fine. Your body, you gotta, it's skills, and perishable skills.
You have to, and I'm glad that you were admitting that because that's what needs to happen. We need more training, a continual training.
Yep.
There has to be a continue. You're a police officer. You're getting paid this much. You better be proficient at what you do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You guys are the ones that are protecting everybody. You have to be proficient. And I get people, and I get when things happen, and I understand what occurred, especially with the BLM and everything else. We understand that, but we do need some kind of reform.
Yeah.
And we need good officers like yourself.
Okay, so we go back, and you said something important. So the reform part would be better selection, better recruiting, better training, better supervision, better leadership at the top. That's on the law enforcement side. On the civilian side, again, better parenting, teaching basic skills, respect, and you will be respected.
Believe me, that's what needs to happen. You have to comply. I see a lot of colleagues that have, and I say colleagues, and I use it openly, that have podcasts, and they're out there like citizen journalists. There's plenty of them. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a camera. Everybody has the right to do it, and they start bugging police officers and think. There's a difference if you get in the corner and say, you know what, I'm doing this as, I'm a journalist, here's my journalist, let me stick over here and I'm going to do a story. Then, officer, if you have a minute after that, can I interview you?
Right.
That's being a journalist, not go up there and I can do whatever I want because it's my First Amendment up yours, and that's totally different difference.
So, respect is a two-way street, right? So it goes, and so that defeats the purpose. When podcasters or so-called journalists go around using vulgar language, aggressive behavior, it shuts people down. The people that are probably better to serve you and help you, you actually shut them down.
Sure.
And it turns into a gossip. It doesn't turn to news anymore. It's just gossip.
Yeah,
and it goes nowhere.
Absolutely. But there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be redone on the civilian side as well. Parenting, it has to. And we come down to parenting. We have a lot of We have a lot of, it was said, I just read something the other day, that every 8 seconds here in the United States, somebody gets married, and every 40 seconds, somebody gets divorced.
Wow.
Okay? When you look at it that way, I mean, we have a lot of divorces going on.
And then a 5-to-1 ratio.
You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden now, when you start looking at that, you start seeing a lot of single parents, both mom and dad, and you start going into problems with parental alienation, interference with child custody, and
the sexual abuse.
a bunch of
trauma.
other stuff. A bunch of stuff comes in from that we have to be very vigilant about in all angles. And the police has to also help out as well.
Yep, and boy, here's the thing. Remember, the police officers are expected to be everything: psychologists, lawyers, judges, everything. Every time somebody needs something, even though they don't like us, they're gonna call us because whoever wants to call.
It's the judge, jury, right then and there, and you have to understand what's going on. Sometimes people make mistakes, but you're correct. I think there has to be some kind of schooling. Listen, when I was in school in Louisville, Kentucky, they used to have 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I remember that very well. For 2 weeks, a police officer would come over and teach gun safety.
Wow.
Gun safety.
Well, you're looking at Kentucky. Everybody has a gun.
But we're here también, you know. And then all of a sudden, 5th grade they did it again. 6th grade they did it again.
Wow.
And they'll come in there, and that was all the schools. And we went to a parochial school, and Catholic school, and all of a sudden, everybody knew whether you had it or not. Of course, you can see this. You can see the patina on the wall. You can see the heads up there and everything else. I hunt, my kids hunt, everybody else hunts. We grew up here in Laredo. We need to start bringing that back, make it mandatory.
Yeah, because a lot of people, and I tell them, when they want to feel secure, do you have a gun at home? At home, you don't need a permit. In fact, you don't need a permit now anyway. Yeah. But for many years, your homestead is considered your castle. You're the king and queen of that castle. You have every right to have whatever gun you want in there, as long as it's not out there. But a lot of people are afraid. No, I don't want to touch a gun. Well, get over that. Learn how to handle that. Gun's not gonna hurt anybody unless you don't know how to handle it. But once you start handling it, I've seen a lot of people, especially females, once they start handling it, they want more, and they want a better gun, and they want a rifle. And all you gotta do is get past that fear. It's like karate. It's like any art. Once you get that first shot, and we were talking about that last time when you compete, right? You're nervous. Once you get that first shot in the face, okay, I got it. Now let's go, right? Same thing here. Get through it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
And you're correct. We need to bring that back to stop all these accidents that occur. I think we can to stop but there's a lot of stuff in there. Parents need to go back and, this everybody has one. Little kids have cell phones, and guess what? Little kids are on YouTube. Little kids, you have to be vigilant on what apps your kids have. Not only because of the violence, but also because of the predators that are out there.
Oh yeah.
You have to be very vigilant. And parents, it's okay for them to have that. Facebook says adult entertainment. That means 18 and over. No 13-year-old, no 12-year-old should be on Facebook.
Yeah. I agree.
Instagram, the same thing. TikTok, it says that's all thing. Everybody's on it. And you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of
No, there's a lot of stuff wrong with it. Yeah, a lot of stuff pops up without you asking for it. And if your mind is not ready to accept it and understand it, then it gets confusing and warped. That's where the problems start.
Yep. I'm changing it in a different direction. We're not that far from early vote, correct?
No, October 24th, for 10 days, I believe, you're going to do early voting, and November 8th is the actual election. So, it's around the corner. We're about to pick it up with the game plan as far as block walking and phone banking. We're asking, you're not going to see me, as far as my personal campaign, you're not going to see anybody wearing, $2 shirts that says Team TJ, holding up signs. We're not going to do that. We don't need to do that. What we need to do is get to the hearts and minds of educated, involved community members that are willing to go out there and vote for the right candidate. At this point, because of all the big races coming up, we're a small race compared to all the big ones, the mayors and 5 different council districts, so that's going to be interesting. So you're going to have to really look for us to get involved in our part of the race. But most people, I think we're gonna have a high turnout on this one. There's 3 candidates for my race, so the probability of a runoff is very high, which is fine. As long as people go out there and exercise their right.
Absolutely. People need to go out and exercise the right. And again, folks, I can't repeat this enough. Research, understand the candidates that are running, understand the why that they're running. Call them up. You know, if there's a Facebook page, tell them, you know what, I'd like to talk to you. Can I call you? Here's my number. Can you call me? And if they call you back, that's a sign they're a good candidate. Well, guess what? If they don't call you back, don't expect them to call you once they get elected. Believe me, they're not going to call you. You're nothing to them. So if they call you back, or they give you their number for you to call them, and you call them and tell them, you know, I have this problem over here. How can I help? I want to change this. And they say, yeah, give me, or they call you back. That's a good candidate. That's somebody that cares for the community. And more than likely, when he or she's elected, they're going to call you back then. But you got candidates right now that don't return calls from people that helped them get elected the last time. So there's going to be a lot of changes. Remember, folks, things go around. And right now we're in a very, very tough position here in the United States. And it's trickling down in all areas. And we need to really look and see who our candidates are. Not because, guess what, you know, he has a nice sticker.
You know, and I would invite folks, just as a reminder, go to YouTube and just put Pepe Martin CBS, interview. I don't know, a lot of people have forgotten about that interview. I was revisiting it, and there's a section that he actually tells the reporter that in Webb County, most voters are not comfortable in making their own decision. So somebody needs to guide them into who to vote for. And there are some sections out there of the parties that are still thinking that way. No, so that's why you have the cañoneros and all this stuff, which is totally illegal. We need to get away from that, Professor. We need to get away from that. That is holding Laredo. We are 20, 30 years behind everybody else. You know, go to McAllen. Just look at the economic development over there. We are so far behind. Go to downtown Laredo. It's embarrassing. Go to the mall right here. It's embarrassing.
It's sad.
It's sad, and we shouldn't be there.
It's sad, you know, and we're in a sad position. Okay, and a lot of people do not understand that when the reason this slot is empty for Constable, the previous council member was caught with sex crimes, transporting illegals in here, and he got indicted and he got sentenced to 1 year and a month, I believe. But what happened to the rest of the officers that are in there? Did they know something was going on? Were they tainted? Do you need somebody to go in there and clean house? Yes, we do. We need to do that. And I'm not blaming anybody there right now, but guess what? You know, if you knew that was going on, you're also part of the problem.
Yep.
And we can't have all of a sudden, you know, here let's put somebody else in just to cover things up. You know, enough of that. And nothing wrong with this young man that's out there, but we need people out there that can research your candidates. That's all I say. Research each and every one.
And you know what? He said a very important thing. You know, if you get a hold of my number or you need it, just call me. And if I don't take the time to answer a simple question, then you're right. Then I don't care to be there as a candidate. I need to expose myself in my career so that I can earn your vote. And listen to the word I'm saying: earn it, not get it. Earn it. I need to earn it. You know, anybody can run for office. Anybody can run. As long as you're an American citizen, you can run for office. Anything.
Absolutely.
The problem is earn it. Earn that vote.
Absolutely. And for your number out there, where can they call you?
956-237-5857. That's my personal cell. At any time, I'll be available. We can meet. We can talk. Whatever people want to talk about.
And the area for the Constable is from what to what?
Okay, on the north side, it's on Mines Road all the way. It cuts off at Flecha. Then along the river banks all the way down to the bridge, down Market, up Ejido, and then it gets a weird turn through Clark and kind of works its way through a little bit of Delmar back up to Mines Road. So it's a weird cutoff the way they did it. But if you're within those boundaries, and even if you're not, you know, I will ask for people's consideration to vote for me, or at least tell somebody that is in the district to vote for me. So give us a chance. Give us a chance to redirect that department into the new century.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to leave you with this, and best of luck to you in your campaign.
Appreciate it.
And the other guys that are out there, the same goes with you all. Once more, research, go out and vote, bring out a friend to vote. Hey, tell them, you know what, let's go have breakfast. After breakfast, let's go vote. Do that, bring your kids to vote. My son's 18. He just sent in his voter registration to see if he can vote. So little by little, start getting people involved, because we have way too many voters that do not vote here in Laredo, and everybody. But yet you see them on Facebook putting in their complaints. You can't complain on Facebook if you don't vote.
That's right. That's right.
Until next time, much peace.